Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Reverend Candace Shibata, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. Thank you so much for joining us on April 24th, 2022. I'm here at the Buddhist Church of Stockton, and this is our Sunday Dharma service. So, welcome and good morning to everybody who is at home, on Zoom, or watching via YouTube. We appreciate your attendance today. And of course, I welcome you to participate with all parts of the service. And the way in which you can do that is by preparing your home altar or home ubutsudan. And of course, I'll be sharing my screen here so that you can fully participate in all of the chanting and the recitations. And then, of course, again, if you have a home altar, you can light your candle, light your incense, whatever that you have to make it your own special altar. Okay? So we'll go ahead and start with the kancho, or the tolling of the bell. And as I mention every Sunday, this is a wonderful way to really prepare our minds, our bodies, and our hearts to be able to hear and receive the Buddha Dharma. Okay, so please sit with me during the tolling of the bell called the kancho. Okay, so I actually had to mute my microphone because I think I needed to take some really nice cleansing breaths during the tolling of the bell too, to prepare my heart and my mind and my body for today's service as well. Okay, so we'll continue the service with the opening meditation prepared by Mrs. Darlene Bagshaw.
Finding a way back to Dharma school isn't easy as you think. COVID tried to hold us back, but now it's starting to shrink. How can we get back to normal? Distance learning and Zoom each week has actually been alright. We just need to find the right path, follow me as light. Let us all return to normal. Sometimes you want to go where the Buddha calls your name. Go back to temple once again. We're going back to Dharma school. We can hardly wait to see you all in Dharma school again.
Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. And if you didn't have a chance to read the last slide, that was actually written by Ruby Kato, our very own Ruby Kato, and performed by Koichi Mizushima and his daughter Ellie Mizushima from the Sacramento Batsuin. And this was featured in our conference that we just had yesterday for the Dharma school teachers. And it was online, but it was hosted by our Northern California district. And so it was nice to be able to feature that once again. So congratulations to all of the teachers who managed to put on a very successful conference. Okay, so we'll continue the service and let me share my slideshow with you. Let me advance this. Okay, so we are going to have the sutra chanting of Jusege as 3 sacred vows. And this is an opportunity for us even to be able to quiet our minds and quiet our bodies. And this is a meditative kind of process to be able to chant the sutras, to be able to hear and receive the Buddha Dharma, and to be able to express our gratitude by actually chanting the words of the teachings as well. Okay, so please join me in the sutra chanting of Jusege. Gagon chosegan hishimu jodo shigan fumanzok seifu joshogak gaon muryoko fuidai seishu 粉砕小病具政府上昇学願視上仏道妙正長地法空境未正門政府上昇学利欲人少年上映主本用しぐむ浄土一生天にし自力へない子不傷無才道少女三苦名交際集約難回避知恵言滅死根門案閉塞小悪道通達全宗門高僧上満足異様道地法日月集中期天候音符言一周解放像公正空読法超大集中説法四式供養一切仏空足修徳本金出上満得意三害用両仏無下地通達未不詳感覚へ力投資最小損志願や交換大聖の官能国書定人統治妙見ナマナブナマナ Pyodo sei sai dohon mo dai shin odyo an dago. Namanda Utsinamanda 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 Namanda Namanda. Okay, thank you for chanting with me at home. We will now have the Golden Chain reading, and this will be led by Andrew Kawaguchi.
I am a link in Amita's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong. I will be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amita's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namanda Namanda Namanda. Thank you so much, Andrew. Great job. I love that the Dharma School students are participating like they used to when we were meeting in person. So we'll continue on with the Dharma message. And what I wanted to do is just share a story. And some of you might have heard this story before. And it's from this book, Kindness, the Treasury of Buddhist Wisdom for Children and Parents. And this story that I wanted to share, I think many of you might have heard it, but there's a lot of things that we can take from this story, even in today's life. Of course, many of these Buddhist stories have a lot of deep meaning and a lot of deep symbolism, but can be really applied to our everyday lives. And so this is called The Monk's Heavy Load. One fine warm spring day, two monks, one old and one young, were traveling to a village far from the monastery to do some trading. In the high mountains where they lived, there were only small trails between villages, no roads, and few bridges. This spring had been especially warm. Winter's dense snow was melting quickly, and many streams had become too swollen and dangerous to cross. After walking a distance on a rugged, steep trail, the two monks came upon a fast-moving stream where a small young woman stood timidly on the bank, afraid to cross. The young monk reminded himself that, as part of his religious training, he had vowed never to touch anyone of the opposite gender. He nodded to the young woman as he passed her by, lifted his monk's robe up slightly, and carefully began to negotiate the stream. But, to his amazement, the elder monk sped right past him while carrying the young woman in his arms. When the old monk put her down on the far shore, she bowed respectfully to him in thanks. Not saying a word in reply, he gave her a bright, broad smile and went on his way with a quick step. The young monk saw that the elder had continued on without him. With some effort, he finally managed to catch up, but as they walked, he considered and reconsidered the old monk's action back at the stream. With each passing mile, his thoughts grew angrier and angrier until hours later, he stopped in his tracks, flushed with rage. He shouted and sputtered at the old monk, "You broke your sacred vows. You were never to touch a woman. How can you forgive yourself? You should not be allowed back in our monastery." Surprised at his outburst, the old monk turned to face him. "I dropped that woman hours ago," he said. "Have you been carrying her all this time?" And here's a picture. Can you see? old monk carrying that young woman. And so he was doing a nice, kind deed. But however, the actions of the older monk really enraged the younger monk. And as he had mentioned, well, I put her down several hours ago, but you continue to carry on with this anger and this rage. And it can be very, very enlightening to our everyday stressors in our everyday lives. So let me share what I was kind of equating this to, even in the classroom.
How heavy is this glass of water? Melissa, would you care to answer?
8 ounces,
12 ounces?
16 ounces.
The absolute weight of the glass doesn't matter. It depends on how long I hold on to it. If I hold it for a minute, nothing happens. If I hold it for an hour, my arm will begin to ache. If I hold it all day long, my arm will feel numb and paralyzed. Well, the weight of the glass hasn't changed, but the longer I hold on to it, the heavier it becomes. The stresses and the worries of life are like this glass of water. If you think about them for a little while, there's no problem. Think about it for a little bit longer, it begins to hurt. You think about them all day long, and you'll feel paralyzed, incapable of doing anything. Always remember, put the glass down.
Okay, so very similar to the first story that I shared. Even the teacher said, put the glass down, don't hold it any longer, especially if it's causing you a lot of stress and worry. And for me, I think both of these stories, this story about the two monks and even this classroom demonstration, really resonated with me. I tend to be somebody who does carry a lot of worry, and even may even perseverate on things that I might have done or even said in the past. There was an incident that I want to share with you. Even in the 6th grade, I had a crush on this boy in my class, and we actually had an opportunity to sit right next to each other. So in this particular classroom, I think we were grouped in seats of 4, and so 2 and 2 desks were across from each other, and I was sitting next to this boy that I really liked during that year. And my subject that was always tough for me was math. Even as a young child, math was never my thing. I liked writing, I liked history. Tiffany, on the other hand, my sister, is a lot better with math and sciences. And I think we're going over some math problems, and for some reason, I just couldn't get it. And I got so flustered, and I didn't want to show this boy that I didn't understand. So all of a sudden I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have a headache. I'm gonna go to the restroom." And even to this day, how many years later, I still get kind of embarrassed when I think about it. I'm sure this boy, Jeff, probably doesn't even remember this occasion of this interaction that we had in 6th grade. But I still get kind of embarrassed, and my heart just kind of fluttered as I was explaining this story. So even still, I'm probably carrying around this embarrassment from the 6th grade, and I'm 43 now. So you can only imagine how many years I've been carrying around this kind of anxiety and embarrassment about showing this boy in this classroom that I didn't know how to do this simple math problem. But what can we do, right? We can tell our students, we can tell each other, oh, just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's okay. But it doesn't ease our heart. It doesn't ease some of the pressure or anxiety that we might be feeling. And we do talk again about mindfulness very often. And as I was mentioning even yesterday in this conference that we had, sometimes the meaning of mindfulness gets very diluted in everyday usage. But I think there is some truth again about this very useful teaching that we can use in our everyday lives, but it is steeped in Buddhism. So again, mindfulness is being aware of the present moment, knowing that we're okay, especially as we are always embraced in Amita's unconditional wisdom, love, and compassion for each and every one of us, that we're okay just as we are. But how can we ease some of those, like I said, those pressures or stresses or anxieties? And so I'm taking a little bit of help from this very wonderful book, Teach, Breathe, Learn. And this is mindfulness in and out of the classroom. And so this particular chapter is called Watering Helpful Seeds. And even this young person named Seb, age 10, talked about mindfulness in his own life. And he said, our helpful seeds are the positive things about us, which means things that make us good and happy. If we water our helpful seeds, we can pass them along and make other people happy. I think mindfulness means a lot to me because if I don't get my helpful seeds watered, I will get unhelpful seeds watered. And by doing that, I'm showing that I am not so positive. Without our helpful seeds, we are not happy. We all need happiness. And so I think maybe from what Seb's saying is that when we are able to water this positivity, this mindfulness in our lives, then we can help pass that on to other people in their time of need as well. And so one of the practices that this particular author is offering in regards to maybe finding a little bit of positivity in our own lives, maybe when we are feeling anxious or scared or nervous, is using this strategy called Be Cool. So B, COOL, is an acronym for something to remember when we want to be able to water our own helpful seeds and maybe lessen our stresses. Okay, and so Be Cool stands for B as in breathe, right? Breathing is essential to every particular aspect in our lives, right? Breathing gives us life and gives oxygen to our cells so that we can continue on in our lives, right? And live this one and only life that we have. C is calm yourself down. Know that the situation is okay. O is for observe what's happening inside and hold it with L, which is love. So B is breathe. C is calm yourself down. Know that your situation is okay. Observe is the next O, what's happening inside, and hold it with love. So again, we need to be able to have these deep breaths to calm ourselves down. Once you know that you're a little bit more calm, and you can be able to be okay to face the task at hand. And we are really encouraged in Buddhism to accept what's going on, right? And it could be a vast variety of different feelings or situations, but in Buddhism, it teaches us maybe to realize this truth, that this is the truth of our lives. This is what's going on. Okay. And once you feel better, you can observe what's happening inside of you. Name your emotions. Look deeply into why these emotions are here. And as you do this, make sure to send yourself love. And this, again, is a practice of self-care and self-compassion called metta, or, compassionate kindness and care. Okay, so again, these are just some tips to be able to work with some of these strong emotions. As we mentioned, some of the anger or stress or anxieties in our everyday lives. So when you're experiencing them, just remember to be cool. Okay, so thank you so much for letting me share with you my Dharma message. Please join me in Gassho to conclude. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. Okay. Okay, so let's continue on with our last recitation for this morning. This is Our Pledge, written by Monshu Koljun Otani. And this particular recitation we're encouraged to read this by the Monshu, or the head priest of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, as a daily reminder of how to utilize the Buddha's teachings in our daily life. Okay, please join me in Gassho. Our Pledge. Breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Okay, thanks everybody. Okay, we're at the conclusion of our service, and we have our announcements for today. I believe, was it Ruby?
Oh, it's me, Tiffany.
Oh, Tiff. Okay, thanks, Tiff.
We cordially invite families with newborns and children up to 1 year in age to participate in our Hatsumairi ceremony on May 15, 2022 at 10 a.m. during our Gotane service. Please see the Karma for further details and the application form to be submitted by April 30th. There is an Obon Bazaar Committee meeting on Thursday, April 28th at 6:30 p.m. Zoom information will be sent out. Reverend Shibata's Book Club's next meeting is on April 27th at 6:30. Sangha Club is continuing collecting their collection of aluminum cans and recyclable plastic bottles. Donations may be left by the white bin under the carport area. Help keep recyclable bottles and cans out of our landfills while supporting one of our youth organizations. Remember to donate your service offering by mailing it into the church or donating through the church website. Also, I think scholarship packets are out, so if anyone needs any of those, and those are due in a few weeks. Sorry, it's not on my announcement, so I don't have the exact date.
Yeah, those are available through the church office, or you can contact myself or Alex, and they are due on May 13th by 4 p.m. when the office closes.
Thank you. Are there any other announcements?
We have one that the flyer is I don't know if Ruby sent the flyer out, but with the Karma, I think it's going to go out with the Karma. But we have an interesting fundraiser that we're going to do. At the beginning of June, we always have an animal memorial service where we encourage you to send in your pictures of your poor pets that are no longer with us. But we decided, what about the pets that are here that don't have a home? So we have hooked up with the Delta Humane Society. This will be run by the Dharma School students and teachers. We are going to collect, they prefer used, not new, used towels that are bath-sized towels, comforters all the way up to king size, blankets, any size blanket, receiving blankets, king size blankets. And we all have all these things kind of laying around the house thinking, what am I going to do with this? I've upgraded or I changed and it's too good to throw out, but yet what do I do with it? Well, we found a place for you to repurpose it. And I believe, and Ruby can shake her head, they also will take rugs, small rugs that come with a rubber bottom. And so if you have those rugs that you would like to recycle, then we will gladly take those as well. And plus, rather than have you donate canned food or things like that and go out and buy it, because we don't know what they are feeding these animals, we would prefer monetary donations if you are so inclined to do so. And then we are going to hopefully try to see if we can get that matched by the VCA to double whatever we can collect here. They are sentient beings. They are not human beings, but they are sentient beings deprived of, needed resources. So hopefully we can support the Delta Humane Society, which is a no-kill shelter. And so we encourage you to start looking for those items, putting them aside. And our collection will be on June 12th, the last day that we have Dharma school here at the temple. And then more information will be out with the Karma, or you can contact the church office for the flyer as well. Thank you.
Any other announcements?
Tiffany, I have one. This is Sachi.
Okay.
We are now starting to collect the raffle gifts for the bazaar. And so if you have any donations, please drop them off at the church office and we'll be happy to accept them. Also, we are concluding with the SBWA, the homeless shelter and the children's home donations as well. So at the end of May, we'll wrap it up and take all of the used clothing to them. We'll be splitting it up and donating it to them. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And the office is open from 10 to 2, everybody. Any other announcements? If not, we truly thank you for attending today to share the Dharma. Remember, friends can view all of our recorded services on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for those announcements and all of those wonderful causes. Before we conclude, do we have any new Dharma friends who are joining us today? If so, you can go ahead and unmute yourself if you'd like. If you feel a little bit shy, that's okay. You can go ahead and say hello in the chat so that we can properly greet you today. So we welcome you to do that. In the meantime, what I'd like to do is express my appreciation first to the Motoyoshi family. They have donated the flowers that we're using today, and thank you, Tad Shibata, for putting those together. Thank you, everybody, for your attendance today as well. And also, thank you, Darlene and Charlie, for your Zoom support. Let's see. Oh, do we have a guest that would like to say hello? Okay. Remember, if you'd like to say hello in the chat, please feel free to do that. And of course, always thank you, Darlene, for your beautiful slideshows as well. Okay, so thanks everybody for tuning in today. Please take good care, and we'll see you next week for our next service. Okay, thanks so much. Have a good afternoon. Take care.